Every nation has a founder, someone whose vision, character, and values become the foundation that everything after is built upon. For the United Arab Emirates, that person was Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. But long before he became the father of a nation, he was a young man in the desert of Al Ain, learning the lessons that would one day shape an entire country. This is the story of how those lessons became the values of the UAE. Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan was born around 1918 in Abu Dhabi, then a small, close-knit community living on the coast of the Arabian Gulf. It was a modest world. There was no oil wealth yet, no cities, no modern infrastructure. The people lived by pearl diving, fishing, and farming the date palms of the inland oases. Life was simple, built on faith, family, and the deep traditions of the desert. He was named after his grandfather, Sheikh Zayed bin Khalifa Al Nahyan, remembered with great honor as Zayed the Great. Zayed the Great ruled Abu Dhabi with wisdom for more than half a century, from 1855 to 1909. To carry that name was to carry a legacy of leadership and responsibility to live up to it. As a young boy, Zayed moved to Al Ain, the oasis city in the heart of the desert interior, surrounded by date palms, mountains, and the ancient channels of flowing water that had sustained life there for thousands of years. It was here that Zayed received his real education, not in a classroom, but in the desert itself. He memorized the Holy Quran and was grounded in the values of his faith. He lived among the Bedouin, learning their ways, how to track and hunt, how to handle camels, how to read the land and the stars. He took up falconry, the noble art of the desert, which became a lifelong passion. And he sat in the majlis, the traditional gathering where elders met to discuss, to listen, and to settle matters by consultation and consensus. In these gatherings, the young Zayed learned the heart of Arab leadership. He learned that a true leader listens before he speaks, that authority is earned through respect, and that the door must always remain open to the people. In Al Ain, Zayed grew fascinated by the aflaj, the ancient underground channels that carried water from the mountains to the farms of the oasis, as they had for 3,000 years. The aflaj were more than an engineering marvel. They were a lesson in fairness. The water was shared among all farms according to a precise and transparent system. Every family received its rightful portion, measured by the movement of the sun and the stars. Rich or poor, powerful or humble, each received their fair share. The system worked because it was just, and because the people trusted it. Zayed took this lesson to heart. He devoted himself to caring for the aflaj, to restoring and protecting them, and from the water he drew a principle that would guide him for the rest of his life. Justice is the basis of rule. He understood that true leadership rests on fairness, that a ruler earns loyalty not through power but through justice. It was a lesson he would one day apply to an entire nation. In 1946, Sheikh Al Zayed was entrusted with the leadership of the eastern region of Abu Dhabi, centered on the oasis of Al Ain. He governed exactly as the desert had taught him. He kept his majlis open to all, listening to the concerns of every person who came to him, farmer or merchant, elder or youth. He settled disputes with patience and wisdom. He led by example, sharing in the life of his people rather than standing apart from them. Under his care, Al Ain flourished. He restored its water channels, encouraged its farms, and strengthened its community. The people came to love and trust him, not because of his title, but because of his character. By the time Sheikh Zayed would be called to lead the entire emirate, he had already spent 20 years earning the devotion of those he served. In 1958, oil was discovered in Abu Dhabi, and by 1962, the first exports had begun. For the first time, the Emirates had the means to transform itself. In 1966, Sheikh Zayed became the ruler of Abu Dhabi, and he knew exactly what this new wealth was for. To Zayed, the oil was never the goal. It was a tool, and the purpose of that tool was the people. He said it plainly, again and again. The real wealth is the people, not the money or oil. Money would come and go, but a nation built on educated, healthy, dignified people would endure. He poured the new wealth into his people without hesitation. Schools rose across the land, and Zayed insisted that education was the right of both boys and girls alike. Knowledge, he said, is the path to progress. Hospitals were built, homes, roads, and infrastructure followed. A society that had lived in simplicity for generations began to rise into the modern age, but always with its values intact. Sheikh Zayed's greatness lay not only in what he built, but in the values he lived by. He believed deeply in the dignity of every human being, declaring that man is created free and must not be humiliated. He was renowned for his generosity, giving freely to those in need, both within his land and far beyond its borders. His faith guided him in all things, and his humility never left him, no matter how high he rose. And he held a love for the land that was far ahead of his time. He cherished the natural world, protecting the wildlife, preserving the desert's creatures, and dreaming of turning the sands green. "Give me agriculture," he said, "and I will give you a civilization." Under his vision, Al Ain and the wider nation bloomed with trees and gardens where there had once been only sand. Today, he is remembered as a pioneer of environmental care in the Arab world. By the late 1960s, Sheikh Zayed had a vision larger than any single emirate. He believed that the small sheikdoms of the coast were stronger together than apart. That unity was the path to security, dignity, and prosperity for all their people. He worked tirelessly, with wisdom and patience, to bring the Emirates together, and in 1971, that vision became reality. The United Arab Emirates was born, and Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan became its first president, a position he would hold with honor until his passing in 2004. He is remembered today, simply and lovingly, as the father of the nation. The United Arab Emirates we see today, its cities, its universities, its prosperity, did not rise from oil alone. It rose from the values of a man who learned fairness from the flowing water of Al Ain, who learned leadership in the open majlis of the desert, who believed that the true wealth of a nation is its people, and who never forgot the dignity, faith, and generosity of the land that raised him. Sheikh Zayed built more than a country. He built a foundation of values that endures in every Emirati heart today. In the next episode, the story of how that vision of unity became a nation, the road to the Union of 1971.